In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to blend multiple exposures from different images into one image in Photoshop. This image right here that you see was taken by one of the students in this class, Sean Zipsey. Credit to Sean for an awesome photo, but he has a really awesome exposure here. He took a second image that has a little bit more definition and color in the reflection on the water. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open that second image. It's going to open in a separate tab. Right next to it, you see the difference between the two. These are the two exposures that I want to blend. This one's a little bit too dark in the background. So I'm going to take this image and I'm going to pull it out of the tab. I'm going to make sure that I have my Move tool, which is this little plus sign with arrows on either side. And I'm going to drag this image on top of my other image. It's not lined up perfectly, so I'm going to hit Control T to get a bounding box that I can then move my image. Double click to apply the change. I'm then going to take my background copy, or my background, and make a copy of it. I'm going to drag that copy on top so that I now have my background copy on top, my darker layer in the middle, and my non-destructive editing background that I'm not going to touch in the very background. I'm going to relabel my layers so that I know what's going on here and it doesn't get too complicated. And then I'm going to use the paintbrush tool, and I'm going to select this top layer, and I'm going to add a layer mask. That's this rectangle with a circle in the middle. It says Add Layer Mask if I hover over it. That will give me this white rectangle here. With this rectangle selected, I'm going to go and I'm going to use my paintbrush tool. I'm going to make sure that my black is selected. I'm going to make my paintbrush tool pretty big, and I'm going to make sure that it has a fuzzy edge. I'm also going to bring my transparency down. I'll show you what happens if my transparency is all the way up. I'm actually going to be erasing this front picture to get the exposure of the picture behind it. But where I go along the edges, I don't want it to be quite so obvious. So I'm going to pull my opacity down so that every time that I go over, I'm doing a more gradual adjustment, and it won't be so obvious if I'm perfectly precise over here in the edges. So I'm basically just going to paint in the darker exposure areas on the water. Up here at the shore, I want to do it too, but I don't have to be quite so perfect about following the edge because I'm using that gradual brush that doesn't have a hard edge. It has more of a soft edge, so it gives me a little bit more freedom to not be perfect with this. So now I have a little bit more definition in the reflection on the water. You can see the difference between the original image and the image that we have created. That has both exposures in the same picture.